Well, I was on Twitter and I just saw folks arguing about who makes the best jollof. Why don't we just do an event where everyone can come and taste it and then vote for their favorite one? And it's just so personal to a lot of folks. I just wanted to settle the debate.
Welcome to the Art of the Party podcast. Jeff Osekre here, CEO of eventwar.com, your ticket to the culture. Excited to speak with you today and connect with our partner and event curator, Ishmael Osekre from Jollof Festival. We're going to break down how he came from Ghana to New York to launch one of the largest Afrobeat themed festivals in the country, the Jollof Festival. He's also going to talk about the calendar for 2024 and how he's been able to scale that business leveraging food, culture, and events. Get ready, get excited. What's up, everybody? Jeff Osekre here, CEO of Eventwar. Welcome to the Art of the Party podcast. Super excited to sit here today with our brother and curator from Eventwar, Mr. Ishmael Osekre. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Well, good to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking the time to connect.
Yeah.
For those of you guys know, we are here to not only talk about Jollof Fest and what Ishmael's been able to build as far as a brand, but how he started off in Ghana, transitioned to New York, has been able to build a successful multi-city tour called the Jollof Festival. So super excited to get into it. Appreciate you taking the time to connect with us here.
Of course.
Man, Ishmael Osekre, tell us about yourself, man. Who are you?
Yeah.
How'd you get started in events and what brought you up to the point where you decided to launch this festival based on jollof rice?
Yeah, so, all right. So, I'm originally from Ghana. I lived in New York for a good amount of time. Went to Columbia for my undergrad. I was at a fellow at the Harvard Innovation Lab. After college, one of the things that I really wanted to kind of focus on, just because I was exhausted from kind of like the college experience, if you will, I kind of wanted to do something a lot more creative instead of writing academic papers. And so I ended up in the DIY scene in Bushwick, Brooklyn, where I was mostly playing in a band and, kind of curating shows.
Yeah.
The critical point was when, at the time, my band's sound was like Afro pop, Afrobeat, ska, a little ahead of our time, if you want to put it that way. People loved the music. They didn't know how to book us. So I had to book the band myself. And so I started going to other shows, trying to see which bands made sense for what we did. And so I started booking these shows. So when I started booking the shows, basically, I was doing what I had to do to make sure that the shows would do well. But people were like, yo, you really market your shows well. Because most of the shows were packed or we sold out and stuff like that. And I guess it was at that point that it occurred to me that what I do when I book a show is not what everyone does. And what came intuitively to me to kind of put a show that I had booked out there wasn't necessarily intuitive to others. So it was like, oh, I guess there's some marketing skill there. So that's really kind of like how I kind of got into, curating events and stuff like that. But with Jollof Rice, I just, I was on Twitter and I just saw folks arguing about who makes the best jollof. And this is something that was trending a lot at the time. I mean, it still trends now. But, I just wanted to settle the debate. I just thought it was frustrating that, people took it so personal that it sometimes went a little too hard at each other. And so I just wanted to...
Is that it was really no debate from the beginning, but
right.
What we appreciate is everybody trying to come at Nigerian jollof, understand that we constantly dominate.
Right.
I respect it, but
yeah, and that's the thing, right? The confidence that everyone has, or everyone have got in their, jollof rice. It's just like, why don't we just do an event where everyone can come and taste it, mm-hmm. and then experience all the different ones at once, mm-hmm. and then vote for their favorite one.
Definitely. So for those who don't know what jollof rice is, you should by now. You probably heard about it.
Yeah.
What is jollof rice?
Jollof is one pot tomato-based rice dish from West Africa. Some people call it party rice. It's this rice dish that is often associated with celebrations, like big celebrations. So it can be a party, it can be an outdooring, it can be a graduation ceremony, it can be your last day in school, right? Which is some people's graduation. It can be a funeral. And it's just so personal to a lot of folks. It's actually the Senegalese national dish, right? So it's very personal to a lot of West African countries. So
you go to Ghana, you go to Nigeria, you're definitely gonna be eating jollof rice.
Yeah.
Some of y'all grew up eating. For those of us who are from West African culture, I'm Nigerian, by the way. Our brother Ishmael's from Ghana, but also Senegal has different jollof rice. What are the markets?
Yeah, Senegal actually. So the belief is that jollof rice came from the Senegambia region, from the Wolof people. So there's a belief that the name jollof actually, is an extension of this culture. Like in Senegal, they have, I know there are more, but I know 3 variations of jollof rice that I've tried from different Senegalese restaurants, right? So they have like the veggie one that is almost like a brown rice one, and then they have the one with like sort of like the broken rice one. Then they also have like your one that has like all the cabbage and the carrot and the fish and all that over it, right? So the different variations of it. But yeah, the whole idea was to settle the debate.
Okay.
And we did it in DC in 2017. Probably 500 people showed up for that first one. But after that, it pretty much kind of took off, and people started inviting us to different cities to, kind of settle the debate, because they felt like DC's decision did not reflect the community of Africans and their opinion of who made the best jollof rice. So we went to New York, and then Atlanta, and then Oakland, and then LA. And that's kind of how we got on the road with it.
Okay, cool. So you've been able to so 2017 is about almost 8 years ago, right? 7 years ago, excuse me. You get ready for your 2024 tour.
Right.
Tickets are going to be launching when?
So tickets are launching literally like any moment now. It's already on Eventnoir.
Sorry. So you have to visit Eventnoir to get your tickets. So how many cities are you hitting this year?
This year we are in about 11 cities this year. Yeah, we're going to be in DC. We are going to be in LA, in Oakland, in Atlanta, in Detroit, in Minneapolis. We are going to be in Durham. We are going to be in Charlotte. We are going to be in Dallas, and then we are going to be in Houston.
Cool. So, of course, pop culture kind of dictated how you started the Jollof Fest and started this party series. And you started in DC. Can you talk to us about your journey to launch this event series in multiple markets? Because a lot of curators are in one market doing a lot of dope events and creating experiences, but you want to take it national, right? So can you talk to us about the journey, skills, resources that you've used to be able to take it to 11 markets this year?
Yeah, I think part of being able to take an experience like this on the road is really, for me, it's really come down to the data. It's just being able to understand where the people that this experience will be relevant to are, so that I can cater for them. And then the other thing that I've been very mindful about has been to always test the market before I go crazy. I think that sometimes you can get excited about something and kind of just want to go crazy right off the bat. It's like, we are going into a city that makes sense, like it feels obvious, but without doing any testing of the market, without understanding if the demographics actually truly fit what you're doing, you can, kind of get ahead of yourself and spend on a massive venue, and the turnout might not be the way you want to go. So I prefer to do a proof of concept. My friends laugh at me all the time because they're like, dude, you're still proving something that's already proven, right? But we are proven in certain markets, but if it's a new market, you still gotta test the market just to be sure before you go crazy. And you have to...
Let me stop you right there. Let's talk about that. Hey, everybody. Jeff Osuji here, CEO of Eventnoir. We're excited to announce the relaunch of our partnership with Urban Venture Fund. If you're a event curator out there that's looking for support, whether it's financing or other resources to help you scale your business, Eventnoir Urban Venture Fund are here to invest in your business, invest in your event. We invest on a project-by-project basis. Make sure you visit the Eventnoir website today or contact us at info@eventnoir.com, and we'll get you more information on how we can help finance your next project. Because when I met you, actually, you were in Chicago, and you're like, man, I'm here for a couple of months getting ready for my Chicago event. And so you actually spend time in the market, get to know the people, get to learn the culture, to learn the scene, and kind of study before you actually launch a project or a particular market.
Exactly.
So talk about that calculated, not only strategy, but that approach, right?
Yeah.
Why do you do that? What makes you...
Well, one of the things that I noticed early on when I started a tour was that Black people are not the same everywhere,
Yeah.
right? And so I realized that
we are not a monolithic people.
we are not a monolithic people. Yeah. And so I realized that what I was thinking from the point of view of a New Yorker or someone in DC didn't really apply to people in the Bay Area. They didn't really apply to people in Atlanta. Like, people in different cities like things to be done for them in a very different way. And so it was important for me to understand the community that I was serving so that I could actually properly execute. The other thing also is, like, when I started all this, there was no funding and whatnot. And so I had to understand that if I was going to take these calculated risks, I would do as much research as I can to eliminate things that are like, that should be obvious to me, but they are not, because I don't come from those cities. Yep. And so spending time in the city helps me to be able to probably get the kind of information that I need about the city and the community that I'm serving. The other thing is also, relationships are important. You know, like, in every city, there are people that are already curating the culture. And if you are coming from outside, you know, you kind of want to knock on the doors, you kind of want to greet, you kind of want to connect with the people and try to figure out a way that what you are doing, can support whatever is already happening. You don't want to be antagonistic, if you want to put it that way. You don't want to, kind of come in and just be like, oh, because I can market, or because I have a cool event. I don't care who else is here. I don't care when they are doing what. For me, knowing who the movers and the shakers are in every community that I go to is important. Knowing when they are doing things so that we can plan in a way where we don't compete unnecessarily, right? There are so many days in the year. So if I got to do mine the following month, so I don't clash with like that one event that this other person who does an Afrobeat event does, bro, it saves both of us time and money and unnecessary competition. So understanding the community, understanding how what I'm doing serves the community, understanding who else is in the community and how I can avoid unnecessary conflict and even complement each other. I think all of that is really helpful. And sometimes you can't get that by just looking at Instagram or online. You got to get, the other thing also that people don't realize is, like, with Jollof specifically, there are countries that Jollof is very personal for, right? So it's a lot easier. Like, if it was just a Ghanaian event, or it was just, just a Nigerian event, just because I have a lot of Nigerian friends, my roommates, stuff like that, and I'm Ghanaian, it's a lot easier for me to kind of think through that. But you have to understand there are Liberians, there are Sierra Leoneans, there are Senegalese. These are all communities that take this thing personal. Yeah. So part of spending time is also visiting these restaurants, tasting their food, talking to them, trying to understand, okay, if we want to bring some of this food in, what are the processes? How can we make this happen, right? And so just paying attention to all these details, I think, helps in being able to be effective, taking a calculated risk, right? And then also really getting more community involvement, because when people know you care, they begin to care.
Man, so you take a food, you take culture, you put it into events and experiences. I think it's pretty dope. I got to ask you a question. DC, New York, Chicago, who has the best jollof? If we're in them three cities, where should we go for jollof?
Oh, wow. DC, Atlanta, and Chicago?
Let's say DC, Atlanta, Chicago. I'll say DC, Atlanta, Chicago.
Was that original? Okay,
DC, Atlanta, Chicago. If you're in town, where would you go to get jollof rice?
See, I'm just off my head. I would say DC, just for the very reason
restaurant. What restaurant in DC?
Oh, well.
Yeah, we want to show some of these restaurants.
See, this is where it gets personal, right? Because my vendors are going to say, I mentioned this person and didn't mention that person.
You can name a couple spots.
But here's what I'm going to say, right?
Next time I pull to DC, I want to know where I should go.
I got you. If you want Nigerian jollof, Auntie Hajara just won, so I got to mention, Hajara's Kitchen. If you want some Senegalese jollof, then I'm going to tell you Koite Grill, because they won the year before, and they were second last year. So there's something to be said about their consistency, right? So Koite Grill.
So Nigeria won first, though, just confirming.
Nigeria just won last year after not winning for 5 years straight. So, shout out to Auntie Ajara for making that happen, because my Nigerian customers, they were about to give up on themselves. After 5 years of not winning in DC.
You guys finally got it right.
Exactly. It wasn't rigged the year you won.
So DC, and then, New York, what are some of the top places to grab some jollof? African cuisine.
African cuisine in Atlanta.
And let's say New York or Atlanta.
Well, so we haven't done New York in a minute, but in New York, Buka was a place to go. I've heard of Little Lagos, obviously Accra in Harlem. Got to shout out, my folks. What's the brother's name?
Lagos Lounge. You gotta stop by Lagos Lounge now.
See. So these are probably recent ones I haven't been. Exactly. Yeah.
Right, so I went to Lagos Lounge. They had the jerk chicken and they had the jollof rice. Off the chain. So then Atlanta, where would you go to check out something?
So Atlanta, the auntie has to forgive me for this. The lady that just won in Atlanta is actually Togolese.
Okay.
And it was her first time working with us. So forgive me, auntie, for not remembering the name of your business because you're new to us. But I really liked the fact that she came in and caused an upset because Togo has never won in any other city before.
Okay.
So and I'm going to get you the name so you can put it on the screen because I'd love for her to get, the recognition for that. That obviously was very, very huge. The caterer who, sort of like an auntie that supplied, the jollof, Ghanaian jollof rice. Unfortunately, I don't think she has a restaurant, right? But that's going to be Princess Mom, dope jollof rice that is always performing first or second in Atlanta. I got to shout out my Liberians in Atlanta because they shut it down.
Okay.
The Liberian jollof. So actually in 2019, we had the first upset in the series because it used to be Ghana, Nigeria, and Liberia came out of nowhere. I think they took Atlanta, they took DC that year. Okay. I think they took the Bay Area.
Shout out to my Liberians.
And so, yeah.
I had a lot of dope Liberians.
I'm telling you, man. And Liberian cuisine is actually slept on.
Okay. Yeah.
So, like I said, I spent time and, I try to, Liberian cuisine, I got to tell you, like their soups are...
Some of our dope Liberians, the young ladies that do dope Africans.
Yeah.
Put it together, Masa and Miata. Yeah. They out in LA. They put that dope Africans event together.
Yeah.
And they do some dope stuff. I did a lot of dope Liberian. I think Rich Lou Dennis is Liberian as well.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that. Yeah. Liberians deserve a lot of credit for their food.
If you're in Chicago, you got to check out people from BC, people from Dynamic, people from VV's, of course. We got a whole lot of spots. I'm a Shigerian, so we got a lot of great spots with great food, Ayazi, etc. So, and Ebola. So, but what I want to talk to you about, so you're taking food, right? You're taking this long-term argument about who has the best jollof rice. You've really turned that into a vehicle to celebrate African culture, Afrobeat, right? Afro pop, etc. So of course we know there's this surgence and just really, Afrobeat is on top right now in terms of the type of music that folks are listening to, and it's really universal, right? So talk to me a little bit about how the power of Afrobeat and African culture has led to the success and the growth of your business.
So that's a very good point. I think the one clear thing is we haven't had as much mentions in Afrobeat songs as I feel like we should. We have had to some extent, the word jollof, but just the spread and the growth of Afrobeat is just make people more comfortable around the culture.
Definitely.
And the more people get comfortable around the culture, the more they want to explore, right? So they are listening to the music and they're like, what kind of meal will actually go with this song, right? What kind of clothing will go with this music and this meal, right? And so now people are looking at food, and so they are going into African restaurants. Now we've had, it wasn't jollof rice.
Hey everybody, Jeff Osuji, CEO of Eventwar here. We're proud to announce that the Eventwar mobile app is available right now on both iPhone and Android. So if you're in a town, in a city looking for an event near you, download the Eventwar app. You'll find a dope experience. Check it out. Let me know what you think about it. Peace.
It wasn't jollof rice, but we had fufu trained on TikTok for a minute. My friend who runs a restaurant, and shout out to Calabash African Cuisine. Calabash hasn't competed in the Jollof Festival yet, but they've got some dope jollof rice and food, period. Like the menu at Calabash is amazing. And, they were just, telling me, the orders for fufu has been going crazy. I was like, there was a trend on TikTok.
Okay.
And so you have all these kids, mostly non-African, going to African restaurants and ordering fufu because they wanted to try it out and put it on TikTok.
And it's dope because you have so many folks now going back to Ghana, right?
Yes.
You guys stole some of our shine, but it's all good. Shout out to my Ghanaian folks. Everybody's going out crying. Vegas is still lit.
Dirty December.
Y'all getting it popping right now. And so we have this resurgence of folks and this surge of folks that are attending Ghana in December now.
Yeah.
And that's influencing folks back home. And that's good as going to support the restaurants and the cuisine.
Yep.
So you're hitting about 11 different markets this year.
Yep.
Right. And in each different market, there's going to be competitions.
Right.
There's going to be great. Usually there's going to be performances.
Yeah.
Right. What can people expect from this year that's going to be different from other years?
Well, so, one of the things that we've really kind of focused on during the last few years has been just like people having access to the food and trying out the food.
Yep.
Right. But we want to kind of extend that a little more where it's not just the jollof rice. You're actually trying some African dishes, right? So you get to experience the continent in a little bit of the continent when you come to the Jollof Festival. That is so important to us. We are also like really trying to be more inclusive with the voting process, where we've gone back and forth between judges voting and the audience voting. But the audience vote is here to stay. So that's locked in. We are trying to include, like especially on the Friday nights, like pre-festival things we can do where people can network, connect, get to, meet each other and really get to know each other as a community. Because really that is what this is about. Like back home, we break bread, around the dinner table, right? So just us getting to know each other around food is something that is really important to us, right? And that's, we are also looking at instances where we, like I was saying before, you are listening to the music, you are eating the food, you probably want to, wear the clothes, right? So more vendors so people can, experience some of the fashion, wear some of the clothing. We may do some fashion pop-ups in some of the cities as well, just as a way to showcase some designers in the community and what they have going on, and then some art. So again, because these are all ways of telling stories about the culture and the communities that we are coming from. And that's so important to us. So you have the music, you have the food, you have more food, you have some, vendors market, clothing, stuff like that. Pre-festival, intimate experience to connect, to get to know each other and stuff like that.
Love it.
Yeah.
And we appreciate having you on the platform as one of our dope curators.
Yeah.
We've been talking for some time and I saw the dope experiences you're creating.
Yeah.
We definitely want to partner with you, man. Can I talk to you about, can you talk a little bit with folks about, what are the reasons why there's so many different event platforms out there? What made you choose to partner? What's some of the benefits of working with Event Noir? We're really excited to work with you and get it popping this year, but what are some of the benefits from your perspective?
I think that having a platform that really focuses on the culture is very important, because it's just easy to, kind of wake up and be like, all right, I want to experience, a cultural activity, and I want to go to a platform where it's curated for me to be able to kind of find it and not have to dig through the weeds and kind of get lost in it. But I think Event Noir as a platform, in my opinion, has a lot of unique features that folks can benefit from. One of the things that we were doing in one of the cities, actually we're doing that in most of the cities, is just like being able to sell merch, and kind of that simple integration without having to do too much is really cool, because when a person comes to buy a ticket and they're in the mood, it's probably a lot easier for them to just, press a button and add a t-shirt rather than go to like another store on the website and they may get distracted or lose lose focus and not do that, right? So just the ability to be able to sell drink tickets very easily, be able to sell merch very easily. I think that is being able to send a blast to your users, very easy, text blasts, email blasts, for free. These are things that people pay for to use other platforms for, right? So to have that on the platform, I think is dope. Setting up the events is also like pretty straightforward. So that's one of the things that I appreciate. You guys have just thought about so many things, like the confirmation message, like what preview will people see about the ticketing part? What preview will people see? Listing your sponsors, integrating that. The Event Noir platform just adds so many things that you as an event planner sometimes haven't thought of, but there are things that you do and need, and to have all that in one space, I think is cool. So that's one of the reasons why, I'm down to use Event Noir.
Man, we appreciate you. I mean, we're rocking all year. We got some dope events coming up from Jollof Festival.
Yeah.
So it kicks off May 25th at LA.
Yep.
Anything else you want to leave with the people? Anything else they should know about the Jollof Festival that you want them to know?
Oh yeah, I mean, hey, listen, the debate has not been settled. Like every year, we think we'll have, a conclusion to the matter, but we never do. So we need everyone's help to settle this debate once and for all. Come out, come have some jollof rice. And our events are also family friendly. Saturday daytime between 2 and 7. Come out with the family, come hang out, introduce them to the culture. Bring your neighbors, bring your friends, bring folks from church, bring folks from work, and just come have a good time, and let's engage in community and culture and get to know each other better. That's what this is all about.
I love it, man. We're looking forward to the Jollof Festival this year. It's one of the amazing series that we've been able to partner with, especially with our partnership with Urban Venture Fund. So a lot of curators are scaling businesses and their event series all over the country in partnership with Event We're happy to do that with Jollof Festival, and get ready for some live action, guys. Get ready for some entertainment, some performances, some good food, some great vibes. This is getting ready to put on a show for the whole country. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Jollof and August. So make sure you guys tap in. Jollof Festival tickets on sale now on the Benoit.
Yep.
Ishmael, I appreciate you coming to chop it up with us, man.
Thanks for having me. This was fun. Thank you.